let's talk about what Trump is doing, what the counter is, and how it's working. Conservative strategist Rina Shah, former White House spokesperson for President George W. Bush, Pete Seat, and Democratic strategist Amisha Cross. Good to see each and all. First of all, show of hands. Am I missing something about how this is gold that Trump is putting out there and that this is the exact way to win? Does anybody think this is his best foot forward? No? All right, good. So I start with you, Pete. The idea of that, is this Trump can't do differently, or Trump really thinks he doesn't need to do differently? Specifically, we know what Harris is about, okay? Going after Kemp, what's the play there?
Well, Donald Trump thinks he always has the election in the bag, and that allows him the latitude, he believes, to be authentically him. And as you mentioned, if you've been to a Trump rally, that is precisely what the attendees want when they go. They want the shock value. They want the comedy routines. They want the tried and true greatest hits that he throws out there. Go back to 2016. People went to rallies because they wanted to chant, "Lock her up," which is what they saw on television. They wanted to be a part of this. And to tie it into what you've been talking about all night, Donald Trump is not a vehicle for ideology or for a policy agenda. Donald Trump is an attitude. He is a feeling. He is a vibe. And everyone in those rooms, in those rallies, feel right now that he is under assault, under attack by the judiciary, by an attempted assassination, and now by a change at the top of the ticket. And so they love what they're hearing from him.
Pete, let's talk about who they is for a second. You're voting for Trump. You don't want to be like Trump, though, do you?
No, but and this is my point. It's about the base. He plays to the base. We're used to normal politicians, Chris, who play to a base during a primary to get to a nomination and then, quote unquote, tack to the center in a general election. That's not Donald Trump's way.
I am used to politicians who don't embarrass people who say they're going to vote for him. That's what I'm used to. Now, Rina, and when we're talking about like what he's doing here with this and how it beats him, you and I both know people said to him, you got to back off what you said about Harris. And that's why he's just calling her an idiot and a freak now instead of talking about her race and her ethnicity. How dangerous is the line that he's walking?
Well, in Trump's own way, last week, he was trying to cast her as inauthentic, thinking he'd get some sympathy out of that audience. Obviously, that was more than a misstep. It was a blunder of epic proportions. And obviously, people who are on his team want to see him do better. They want to see him go beyond the character attacks, beyond identity. They want to see him talk policy. Let's get her on the record. He is incapable of doing that. But again, that's just who Trump is. What doesn't really line up, though, Chris, with the Trump we've known over the past many years is the guy who seems to be tripping over his own 2 feet right now. And that's, of course, to the advantage of the Harris campaign, because she's going to continue to fly high on all this momentum, something he had prior to picking J.D. Vance, a guy who capped his momentum and zapped his energy. And now we're looking at a moment where I don't see how he recoups, because this whole month, it's going to be VP pick energy. It's going to be convention energy. They're going to do their own unity dance, the Democrats. And what are people who don't like Trumpism going to do? They're going to say, well, I don't know. And that's the problem there. So that's why this is still an uphill battle for the Harris campaign. This is going to be a hard fight. They shouldn't let off the gas at any point, because the problem is those who bought into the playbook, Chris, that you and I both know for years that Republicans played, it was demonize the Democrats. And it seeps so deep in that it's even gone to some of the moderates. And that's who Harris needs to peel off.
Amisha, you were at the NABJ, which was an interesting moment for you to witness, I'm sure. This is an opportunity, but it is so tempting, especially for Harris. I'm sure she just can't wait to get on the debate stage. She is such a faster, more cutting thinker than Donald Trump has ever been on his best day. But, are you worried that Harris cannot play the insult game with Trump and win in the places with the faces that she needs to? And if not, then how?
No, I'm not worried at all. I think that what Kamala Harris has is many strengths, and one of them is being able to read the room and understand an audience. She's also not afraid to throw a punch. She's been doing it her entire life. I think that at this point, there's a recognition of who Trump is and how Trump debates. He does not debate policy. He's a bully. He's proven himself to be a bully in every debate he's ever taken part in. And I think that to meet a bully, you have to throw some of that back at him. She's from Oakland. She gets it. I think the other part of this is a recognition that he cannot stay away from attacking women, particularly women of color. That is something that he has not tried to avoid throughout his entire career, and it's something he won't avoid on a debate stage. That is why his camp is extremely worried. She is prized and ready for this fight, and she will get up there and do what she needs to do, not only bringing it back to policy, but also meeting that man's energy. And I think that it takes that to actually corral Donald Trump. That's why he doesn't want to have this conversation. Her fundraising goals have been astronomical. The organizing she's been able to do in less than 2 weeks across the country, particularly focusing on battleground states, has been beyond anything historically we've ever seen in a campaign cycle, especially at this speed. She has nothing to worry about on the debate stage. What I saw when I was at the National Association of Black Journalists Conference in my hometown of Chicago last week was Donald Trump walking a room using his MAGA greatest hits in front of a 98% Black audience who is not MAGA. He was not speaking to us. He was speaking to his very siloed MAGA base. That's the same thing he's been doing this entire campaign cycle. You cannot win or formulate a very strong electoral campaign if you are only reaching a small swath of people. He is not and has never been interested in expanding that base. He is running on racism. He is running on misogyny. He is running on sexism. And he won't move away from it, despite better calls from stronger Republicans urging him to do so.
Well, we'll see. I got to jump, but I want to tell all of you, because you're all influential. So I think Trump should ask for the debate to be with Fox. And I think Harris should say it's fine with me. I think Carville's is exactly right. I think Harris should say, I'll go wherever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. Even have Megyn Kelly up there, Trump's new best friend, and let Harris take her on, too. I think that debate has to happen for the American people. Each and all, thank you very much.